So we just saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Let's talk about it. So I'm joined here by my friend Shaggy, also known as Brian Russo on Letterboxd, and we're going to be talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's right.
What'd you think?
Well, I gotta say, it's got some strong points, but it's got a lot of flaws too. I mean, there's a lot of cool kills, a lot of gore, but man, is that story a train wreck.
All right, so let's do a deep dive into that story. So, as you know, this is a new timeline, direct sequel to the first one, which we saw together as well.
Correct.
You hadn't seen it, right?
Yes.
So just quickly, what did you think of that first one?
Well, the first one's quite interesting because it's more of an atmospheric movie. I mean, there's a lot of like simple elements, especially considering it's the first big horror movie at the time. And so it's very low budget. There's not a lot of things going on. But once you see the family, which again is one of the things that's really missing in this one, in my opinion, you really get to see a lot of the interesting elements, the way the dad has that like crazy mask and everything, the brother is crazy, Leatherface, even though I think he's like more of a side character in that one because he's not really in it that much. I think he does a lot in this one. And
I mean, yeah, it seems that they really took what was just a side character in the first one and they just ran with it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, this is our Michael Myers. And you know, when you're watching this one, given that it's, I guess it's what's known, especially after watching Scream 5, as a requel, this is exactly just like what Halloween was.
Yeah, it definitely feels like the main thing it's going for is they're trying to ride the coattails of Halloween's success. I mean, they're already on their second movie and apparently it's still doing really well financially. So they probably saw, hey, why don't we try to make some money too?
Yeah, but like you mentioned, without the family, it's just Leatherface.
Right.
And Leatherface is just a guy.
Right. Leatherface is an interesting character in the sense that he acts as a different person in his family. But alone, he sort of lacks something that some of the other famous killers have, like Michael Myers and all those. He's lacking in that department. And it really shows in this one where he really has more of a solo thing going on. It doesn't really work as well.
Yeah, he's just mostly a mindless killer, and in this new timeline, his backstory isn't that important as it is like when you're watching Halloween, where it's like, oh, Michael Myers came out and Laurie Strode is this important like protagonist, and he's the adversary. Cool. But when you're watching this, it's like they try to pull Laurie Strode by bringing back the original character.
We could talk about that.
Different actress. But it feels a little bit forced.
I mean, I guess if we're also I have to mention the original actress actually was part of a group of friends. And one of the main things that we noticed, and this is a total plot hole, is that there's a picture that the new one carries around, and that's supposed to be the new actress. Yet, in the first movie, the person who took that picture burned up the picture. So, how the heck does she have that photograph when it should have been burned up? I mean, that feels like a pretty big plot hole. Obviously, you don't watch these movies for the story, but come on, we expect a little better than that.
Right, so plot-wise, we have Leatherface being reawakened in a sense. So he's been, let's call it, dormant for all these years, and something triggers him to go on a murderous rampage once again. And if there's one thing that can be said for this, is that they easily quintuple the body count of the first movie in this new timeline. You have multiple deaths, many like maybe one or two are off screen, but most of them are on screen, and the gore effects are phenomenal.
One of the main flaws that I see with the movie, besides those good points that you mentioned as far as the pros, are the actual characters in the movie. So the characters come from a sort of an auction house, so they're trying to get the home of the mother of Leatherface, and that sort of triggers the whole thing as far as you know, getting into the killing and all that. And one of the main things is that those characters, you really don't care if they die. They're just so bland. There's not a lot of things going on, and I don't know, they really didn't feel as strong as the original cast. I mean, the original cast doesn't really also do that much, but I think you get a little more character development in that one. This one, it really feels like a throwaway characters.
So let's just go straight ahead into the spoiler section of this review. Spoilers. So that's sequel bait. What do you think?
It was bad, man. Like, it's just, I'll give them credit. I didn't expect it at all. When I thought he was in that pool, that he was going to be a bubble, and they're going to set up like that. So when they killed the sister of the main protagonist, I really didn't expect it, but it's not really that good. Why even? He got shot like 4 times. I don't know how he doesn't die in this movie. It's ridiculous how many hits he can take.
Yeah, it seems like they really set him up to be kind of like a Michael Myers.
I was thinking the same thing.
I mean, in the first movie, you never have anybody really shooting him. I don't think anybody manages to get a gun in terms of the victims.
Right.
So he just kind of like chases you and he gets you, or in the case of the first movie, one person gets away. But in this case, he's just a tank. He's taken multiple shotgun shots. He gets stabbed. He like almost drowns, and he just doesn't die.
You know, it's funny that there's another tank in the movie. The main original protagonist gets chainsawed almost, I wouldn't say in half, but like right here in her stomach area. And she somehow still has the energy to shoot him after another scene where she's almost bleeding and she can still talk. It makes no sense. Some of these people that should be dead just don't seem to die. Even earlier on, where one of the auction people gets their face cut all the way here, like this whole piece is missing. And the guy is still able to somehow wake up and walk for a decent amount of time. It's ridiculous how long people last in this movie.
Yeah, I think it gets to the point of it being comedic.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's every time you think somebody's dead, like they're not in this movie. They're gonna show up in one more scene on the brink of death. They're gonna do like one more thing, and then they go, they die. But I don't know. It was comedic, so I did laugh, like especially with the main protagonist.
I think if you take this as in an artsy, pretentious sort of way, you're obviously gonna hate this movie. There's a lot of things going on wrong, but if you're into this genre, you kind of have an idea of what a fun, dumb horror movie is. And I think if you take it as that, this movie does the job. I mean, it's not offensive. I didn't feel horrible after feeling it. There were some things that I wish could have been better, and I was a little mad at certain points. But overall, my experience was fun, so I'll give it the 2.5 as it deserves, in my opinion.
So pacing-wise, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I think it was a decent length. I know that from experience, you could possibly skip the first 20 minutes of the movie and you wouldn't be missing too much. Just get straight to the kills, and like
That's where it shines.
You're gonna be missing some of that backstory, which like it was kind of going for like the social commentary thing.
Yeah, I really think this is like a big thing that they do now, is they always politicize things in these. And I mean, I get it, but at the same time, isn't it enough? So you definitely don't need it. If you want to watch it, you know, that's up to you, but you're not really missing too much. I wouldn't call it a complete waste of time, especially if you are enjoying the whole idea of the new story. But you can also skip it. It's not just going to kill you there.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, and it does have the political stuff, but I just think it ends up falling flat because there's just so much gore and it's kind of going for like a anti-gun violence message, kind of.
And they sure have a lot of guns.
And they sure have a lot of gun violence, so I don't know. It just it's kind of weird.
Conflicting ones, yeah.
It's like conflicting information. It's like, is this supposed to be like you have a message, or am I just supposed to laugh when people get shot and die?
Like I said, I really think you got to take this for the crappy movie it is as far as like story. Ignore it, just have a good time, and you'll enjoy the movie. I promise you that. I mean, there's a lot of cool kills to see. Not all of them work, but for the most part, they're fun.
So quickly, I think I want to say that my highlight of the movie was his chainsaw being basically as good as a lightsaber. It goes through anything.
Yeah, he literally chainsaws a whole bullet. I mean, he got shot and it chainsawed that thing. The thing never runs out of fuel, pretty much. I mean, it's a real tank in this one.
Yeah. What was your favorite scene?
I gotta say the bus scene was probably my favorite. A lot of good kills there, and it's just so much gore. And as dumb as it was, I think the whole guy streaming the kill was kind of funny, actually, as an idea. Another social commentary they put in, which is a little tiring, but honestly, it was a funny twist. You can see the guy on the Instagram.
Oh, you're gonna get canceled.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone's like commenting in there, it's like, oh, is this real? This is so fake, man. And I don't know, it's fun. I like it when movies do that.
So I agree with you. I'm at a 2.5 also. Thanks for watching. Leave your thoughts down below. Did you watch the movie? Are you gonna watch it? Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the flip side.